2023. Ms. Sheehan, can you have the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Kennedy? Commissioner Greavy?
Here.
Commissioner Evans?
Present.
Commissioner Matthews?
Present.
And Commissioner Werblin?
Good evening. This is Commissioner Tina Werblin. I am appearing remotely under AB 2449 under the Just Cause provision because I am unable to attend in person due to an immediate family member's caregiving circumstance. In addition, there are not any individuals present in the room at this remote location. Thank you, and present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Paul? I am getting a message that Commissioner Paul is not online as we expected, so we will move past him. And Vice Chair Cruzen.
Present. Commissioner Matthews, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm so sorry, we're going to interrupt for just a second to let our city attorney make a quick note about our online commissioners.
And I just wanted to note for the record that Commissioner Werblin does have her video on. However, it's just not available for viewing in the city council chambers, but those at home viewing on Zoom are able to view her video in compliance with AB 2449. Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Persons wishing to address the Planning Commission on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, provided that no action may be taken on off-agenda items except as authorized by law. Off-agenda items from the public will be taken under consideration without discussion by the Commission and may be referred to staff. Comments will be accepted in person or via Zoom. Public comment instructions. To speak on an agenda item in person, please complete a speaker's card and give it to the secretary before the meeting or at the latest prior to the time for public comments on that item. When joining via Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone to request to speak. You will be called on by name and will have 3 minutes to speak. Next is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
It has been moved and second to approve the agenda as submitted. Ms. Sheehan, will you conduct the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews?
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Cruzen.
Yes. The motion passes. Next is the approval of the minutes for the June 28, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes?
No, there are not.
Do I have the motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve the minutes as submitted. Ms. Sheehan, will you conduct the roll call?
Commissioner Kennedy?
I'll abstain since I wasn't part of the commission.
Commissioner Greavy?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews?
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Cruzen.
Yes. The motion passes. This is the time for the public to speak on items not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. I will now open the public comment period. I have speaker cards for public comment. Will Richard Cruz please come forward to the lectern?
Well,
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Richard Cruz. I'm a field rep for the Carpenters Union Local 180. I've just been recently stationed there, so I cover Solano County now, so I just wanted to take a few minutes of your time to formally introduce myself and also talk about a few labor standards that we hold in high regard in the membership, and those are including medical and retirement benefits, local hiring opportunities, and a commitment to an apprenticeship program. Excuse me. Now, construction workers deserve a fair wage with those said benefits to allow them and their families a chance to thrive and prosper. You know, it's a sad fact nowadays that over 50% of all construction workers are on some type of financial aid. And this goes in hand with having to finance between 4 and 5 hours of commute time daily, chasing hiring opportunities in order to provide. Local hiring opportunities not only gives us hours back with our families, but it gives us the pride of being able to point at developments and say, I built that. You know, I swung the hammer and I was the boot on the ground that raised that development from the ground up. And another value that we hold in high regard is a commitment to an apprenticeship program. This ensures that we continue to evolve with the ever-changing conditions of construction and make sure that our workforce is able to complete high-quality projects in a safe and timely manner. And on top of all that, it ensures that the future generation of carpenters maintain our legacy as the master craft. And aside from all of the statistics, it gives young adults like myself an outlet. I was 19 years old when I joined this membership. I was homeless, no direction, and without this membership, I would have been another statistic. You know, this membership gave me the tools, gave me the knowledge, and gave me the experience to pull myself out of that. So I'm very proud of this this committee that I've joined, and I'm looking forward to all the legislations that we're pushing for to uplift all developers and to help communities all around. You know, I just want to say thank you again for this time, and I'm looking forward to working with each and one of you past this 3 minutes and have an extended conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Do we have any speakers via Zoom?
I see no hands raised on Zoom.
I will now close the public comment. The next item on the agenda is scheduled matters. For each agonized items, there will be a presentation by city staff. For items that involve application requests, I will then ask the applicant to address the commission if they do so desire. Then I will open the comment period via Zoom and in-house. I will close the comment period after all comments have been provided and after all our questions regarding the testimony during the comment period has been answered. After the comment period is closed, the commission will deliberate on the item and may have additional questions for the staff. We cannot take additional testimony or questions from the public after the comment period is closed. Our first item is item A, the election of chair and vice chair for our planning commission meetings. At this time, I would like the commission to nominate a candidate for chairperson of the planning commission. Is there a nomination?
Yes, I have a nomination. I nominate Commissioner Chris Matthews for president. Chairman?
Do I have to say that?
I'll second that.
And is there any other nominations or any volunteers? If not, I'll turn it back to Vice Chair Cruzen.
Commissioner Matthews has been nominated. Is there any discussion? None?
Excuse me, Vice Chair. This is Commissioner Werblin.
Yes, Ms. Warblin.
Is there still an opportunity to nominate someone for chair or vice chair? Or did that moment pass?
This is the moment to nominate somebody for chair, if you wish.
Okay. I also would like to nominate Commissioner. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Her last name is. It just slipped my mind.
Evans?
Thank you. I would like to nominate Commissioner Evans for chairperson as well. My apologies.
So if anyone wants to discuss, this would be the time, and then we'll take a vote.
And then we'll move on to vice chair. Correct. Okay. So, go ahead.
So since we have two nominations, I'll turn it over to the body here to have a discussion. If there are no thoughts to be shared, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote for the first nomination. If that passes, then we'll move on to vice chair. And, sorry. And if it doesn't pass, then we'll do a roll call vote for the second nomination. So open to you all to discuss if you'd like.
I would just like to thank Commissioner Warblin for the nomination. It's always an honor. It's an honor even to be on this commission. This is my third year, and it's been quite a ride and quite a pleasure.
Ms. Sheehan, may I have a roll call vote for in favor of Commissioner Matthews as the next chairperson?
Yes, of course. So Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy,
Yes?
Commissioner Evans,
No?
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin,
No, thank you.
and Vice Chair Cruzen.
No.
We have a tie.
This happened last meeting.
So what I'll, if I may, what I'll open to,
Did you say yes or no?
I said no.
Okay.
what I'll open to the group is you do need a chair and a vice chair. So I don't know if you guys would like to discuss, if perhaps Commissioner Matthews or Commissioner Evans, if one of you would like to be vice chair over chair, or vice versa, perhaps.
I'll take the vice chair, that's fine. I was the second nominated, so makes sense.
Okay, well, I believe for good practice, we'll take another vote on the chair.
Yes.
So I'll start. This would be a vote to nominate Commissioner Matthews to be chair. So Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy,
Yes?
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Cruzen.
No. I mean, yes, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
not a problem. And I know we did kind of just discuss nominations for Commissioner Evans to be vice chair, but are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, hearing none, if you don't mind.
Commissioner Matthews has been elected chairperson of the Planning Commission. At this time, I would like the commission to nominate candidate for vice chairperson of the Planning Commission. Is there a nomination?
This is Commissioner Werblin. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Evans for Vice Chair of Planning Commission.
Is there any discussion?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Greavy for vice chair.
Okay. And so with two nominations, again, we'll open it up if anyone wants to discuss. If not, we'll move into the roll call vote. If you wouldn't mind setting me up here, Vice Chair Cruzen.
Ms. Sheehan, may I have a roll call vote for in favor of Commissioner Matthews, Greavy as the next chairperson?
Okay. Oh, sorry, since Commissioner Evans was the first nominated, if we can start with Commissioner Evans, please.
Ms. Sheehan, may I have a roll call vote for in favor of Commissioner Evans as the next chairperson?
Thank you. Commissioner Kennedy?
No.
Commissioner Greavy?
No?
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews?
No.
Commissioner Werblin?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Cruzen?
No. Oh, for Evans, yes.
I have a sense that we might be in another tie. And we'll move on to the next vote here. So this is a vote for Commissioner Greavy to be Vice Chair. So Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy?
Yes?
Commissioner Evans?
No?
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes?
Commissioner Werblin,
No.
and Commissioner Cruzen.
No.
So again, we're in that tie, so opening it up to the group here. Unfortunately, there is only 2 positions, chair and vice chair. You guys have already nominated your chair, so I'll leave it to the group to discuss for your vice chair.
Can I make a motion that this be tabled until our next meeting when we might have a full complement of commissioners?
That's acceptable.
Thank you. I make that motion.
Do we need to vote in a second?
Let's take a second and a vote, just for the record.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Kennedy to table this for the next commission, hoping we have a full body. And do we have a second for that?
You need a second.
Yes, please.
Second.
And I will take a roll call vote. Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy,
Yes?
Commissioner Evans,
No?
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes?
Commissioner Werblin,
No.
and Commissioner Cruzen.
No.
So with a tie, I believe that motion fails.
That's correct. So the commission can go back into discussion, or at this point, not have a vice chair at this meeting, and it would be automatically tabled until the next meeting.
Can I have a check? Did Commissioner Paul sign on?
Yes, I've just been informed that Commissioner Paul is now online. I don't know, I'll defer to our city attorney to hear if he needs to make any statements.
So there's no motions on the table, so what I would suggest is that now that he's online, that we redo both the motions for both Commissioners Evans and Greavy as vice chair, take them one at a time again. Redo the vote.
Right. Thank you. I'll go ahead and redo that vote. So this is a vote for the nomination of Commissioner Evans as vice chair. So Commissioner Kennedy,
No.
Commissioner Greavy,
No, thank you.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes?
Commissioner Matthews,
No?
Commissioner Werblin,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Cruzen. Yes. So with that, the motion passes for Commissioner Evans to be the vice chair.
Thank you.
Commissioner Evans has been elected Vice Chairperson of the Planning Commission. Our next item is item B, appointment of a liaison for Rockville Hills Regional Park Citizen Advisory Committee. Our staff person is Ryan Panganiban.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Ryan Punganeben. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director and City Engineer. The item for consideration is to select a liaison and an alternate to participate on our Rockville Hills Citizen Advisory Committee. I prepared a brief presentation to provide background on the park, the relationship between the Planning Commission and the Citizen Advisory Committee, and also wanted to touch on a few projects and initiatives that we have underway. I'm sure most of you are familiar with our Rockville Hills Regional Park, but just in case, I wanted to provide you with a couple of facts. The park's main gate is located approximately 1.5 miles from Solano Community College. The beautiful 633-acre park is on city-owned land within unincorporated Solano County, and the park holds regional significance. It's recognized as a segment of the Bay Area Ridge Trail Network. It's accessible to hikers, mountain bikers. The park ascends to a plateau and provides great views of Mount Diablo, Elkhorn Peak, and Twin Sisters. So if you haven't been out there, make sure you check that out. It's a true gem of Solano County. In 2007, the City Council formed the Rockville Hills Regional Park Citizen Advisory Committee. So the purpose was to provide input on capital improvement projects. Along with the formation of the advisory committee, City Council approved a set of guidelines that define the roles and relationships between the committee and the city. Over the past 16 years, these guidelines have been amended to better align with the current city operations. So I wanted to make mention here, there's a quick correction to the staff report. The Rockville Hills Citizen Advisory Committee is a 7-member committee, not a 5-member committee as mentioned in the report. So on this slide, you have a visual of the Rockville Hills Regional Park organization structure. The day-to-day operations and maintenance is handled by our park ranger and public works supervisor. And you'll notice that the committee reports directly to the planning commission. Last year, you may recall that the planning commissioner appointed to this role was Commissioner Childs. And because he's departure, there is now a vacancy that needs to be filled. So typically, the committee meets on a quarterly basis, with the next meeting scheduled here late in October. Meetings are in the evening around 5 o'clock and are at our Public Works Corporation Yard, 420 Gregory Lane. Recent discussions have been focused on the use of e-bikes at the facility and also related to installation of educational signage throughout the trails and in the park. So that concludes my presentation, and again, staff's request is for the Planning Commission to appoint a liaison and an alternate for the Rockville Hills Citizen Advisory Committee. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Do any members of the commission have questions for staff?
Yes.
So, is this a nomination
Yes, sir.
that, I mean, do we go through the same procedure as we just went through? Okay.
Yes, I'll be looking for a recommendation in a second.
Unless there are other comments or questions, I'd like to nominate Don Grieve for this position.
I'll second that.
Want to do a roll call? Maybe?
It's not in my script. Ms. Sheehan, can we take roll call, please?
Yes, of course. Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Cruzen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
And just, I appreciate that, Commissioner Greavy. Just in the event that potentially conflicting schedules or not being available, is it possible for us to get an alternate in the event that Commissioner Greavy cannot attend? I know that might be a reach, mainly, but
I think it's open to the body if you guys would like to nominate an alternative or volunteer as an alternative.
I'd like to volunteer myself as an alternate.
Okay. And just for good measure, if we could have a second on that.
I second.
I second.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Evans because I heard it first. And I'll go ahead and take a roll call for that. Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews,
Yes.
Commissioner Werblin,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Cruzen.
Yes.
And that motion passes for Vice Chair Cruzen to be the alternative.
Our next item is item C, public hearing on the request of Ron Wu of Red Tail Multifamily Land Development to reduce the common open space from 170,830 to 161,554 square feet and associated building and site improvements for an approved multifamily residential development involving 130 apartments at the southeast corner of Sunset Avenue and East Tabor Avenue. Our staff person, do I need to read this part too?
Oh, you don't.
Okay, sorry. Our staff person is Jonathan Atkins.
Good evening, Chair and Planning Commissioners. Tonight, I will be presenting a development review application request to reduce common open space for the approved Arrive Fairfield project. On September 28th, 2022, the Planning Commission approved a development review application for a multifamily development involving 130 apartments. This site is 8.71 acres of land at the southeast corner of Sunset Avenue and East Tabor Avenue. This site is largely characterized by undeveloped land, a relict channel with seasonal wetlands and vegetation. The southernmost portion of the site includes a vacant single-family residence, concrete slab, asphalt, well, and a collection of trees and vegetation that will be removed as part of the main development. This portion of the site is 2.82 acres and under the jurisdiction of Solano County, but is currently in the process of being annexed into the city of Fairfield. The three parcels that comprise the site will be combined into a single parcel under an approved lot merger. This map in the previous slide identified the location of the site within the context of the surrounding area. The site is bound by East Tabor Avenue to the north, Sunset Avenue to the west, and the Laurel Creek Flood Control Channel to the east. There are existing developments that surround the site, including multifamily residences and an office to the north, multifamily and single-family residences to the west, single-family residences to the south, and Grange Middle School to the east. Single-family and multifamily residential is the predominant land uses in the vicinity. Multifamily residential developments that are zoned residential medium-density district require 45% of the net parcel area to be allocated for common open space. No less than 50% of the required common open space shall be usable with a dimension of 20 by 35 feet for passive or active open space. The project site has a net parcel area of 379,690 square feet. Therefore, the project was required to provide at least 170,830 square feet of common open space. Of the 170,830 square feet, approximately 85,000 or 50% shall be usable with a dimension that is 20 by 35 feet. Under the zoning ordinance, the Planning Commission has the authority to lower the percentage of common open space if a project has a high-quality design that maximizes open space in terms of function and aesthetics. This is achievable through the creation of large consolidated open space areas and or the addition of landscape features that decrease perceived mass and scale of buildings and parking lots. So the image in front of you is the approved site plan. The original approval included 172,705 square feet of common open space at 45.5% of the total net parcel area. Of the designated common open space, approximately 128,000 square feet, or 71%, would be usable and meets the minimum dimensions for usability. Usable open space is highlighted in red, whereas unusable open space is highlighted in green. The applicant is currently requesting a minor 2.4% reduction of the common open space. The application proposes approximately 161,000 square feet, or 42.6% of net parcel area for common open space. The request would increase usable common open space by 5.3% compared to the original approval. There will be a total of 76.3%, or approximately 130,000 square feet of usable open space with this request. The request will facilitate an expansion of private patio areas into small landscape strip areas for 65 of the 130 apartments. Furthermore, the request does not eliminate or compromise any of the recreational amenities that will be offered to future residents of the apartment complex. The approved main elevation for building B4 is depicted in this slide. The private patios are recessed within the building elevation. The private patio expansion would result in minor alterations to doors and windows for building B4. The approved main elevation for building B6 is depicted in this slide. The private patios would also be recessed within the building elevation under the approved project. Under the proposal, similar to building B4, the private patio expansion would result in just minor alterations to the doors and windows for building B6, and that's highlighted within the red rectangle on the slide. The adopted mitigated negative declaration for the original project approval found that the development would not have a significant effect on the environment under the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. Environmental impacts regarding biological resources, cultural resources, noise, transportation, and tribal cultural resources would all be reduced to insignificant levels through the implementation of the adopted mitigation measures. Reducing common open space does not substantially alter the scope of the project that was analyzed under CEQA, nor does it increase any of the potentially significant environmental impacts that were analyzed. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 2023-09. This would grant development review approval, DR 2023-007, for the approval of a common open space reduction. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the commission. I did want to note that the applicant team is in attendance and is also available to answer questions and will also be making remarks in front of the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan Atkinson, for the presentation. Now is the time for questions for staff. Please hold your comments or deliberation on the item until after the public hearing is closed. Do any members of the commission have questions for staff?
I have one.
Yes, Commissioner Kennedy.
Thank you. Jonathan, thank you for taking the time with me yesterday to answer most all my questions, but I thought of one. Is there any net loss of trees with the addition of the patio spaces, or will the same amount of trees still be there? Because I don't see that.
Bear with me one moment. I'm going to have an answer for you. So this is the approved site plan. It does depict trees that would be planted on the project. I'm not seeing a situation where the patio expansion would remove any of the trees that were proposed. I did want to note that as far as code requirements, street trees are a requirement. So this project does not impact any of the required street trees. We have requirements for parking lots, a certain number of trees for every 8 to 10 spaces. Given that this project is the original approval shows garage parking, none of those on-site tree requirements were applicable for like surface parking lots.
Okay. I just want to make sure there was not a net loss of trees, since that's better for the environment and us.
Do we have any other questions from the commissioners? Okay. I will now open the public hearing. Do I have any cards?
And
Can I call them both or individually? Are they together? Okay. Brent Little, will you please come up?
Good evening, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Commission. My name is Brent Little, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Red Tail Multifamily Land Development. And as Jonathan explained, we were here towards the end of last year and received approval at this body. Some of you might remember that. And then we went on to the City Council and were approved there. From that point, we went into our final engineering and construction documents and began working through the plans. And it was at that point in the process that we realized that there was a little change that we could make in the design that we thought would improve the livability for the residents of the community. And so with that, we kind of took our foot off the gas and contacted staff and started working through some plans and designs. And tonight we have a real short presentation for you to show you what we have in mind. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jessica Haydari, who's here with me tonight, who's going to walk you through a PowerPoint. Thank you.
Good to go? All right, thank you. Good evening, Chair and Planning Commissioners. My name is Jessica Haydari. I am happy to be here. Thank you for including us on tonight's agenda. As Brent mentioned, we're here on behalf of the applicant, Red Tail Multifamily Land Development, for the Arrive Fairfield project. Jonathan, I think you did a great job covering all of the details. Thank you so much. So I don't want to be too repetitive, but I do want to highlight and expand on a couple of details for our request on the slight reduction of open space. Again, our project is located on Tabor and Sunset and is bound by high-density residential, low, medium-density residential, and Grange Middle School. And then here you're going to see the proposed plan versus the already approved plan side by side. Overall, it's kind of hard to see, but overall, all the green that you see is common open space. And as Jonathan mentioned, the zoning ordinance requires that 45% of the project be common open space, and then unless otherwise approved. Of that common open space, half of it needs to be usable common open space. You'll see on the proposed plan, highlighted in blue, are the proposed patios. I want to note that the majority of the overall common open space in the proposed plan is usable common open space, whereas the open space areas converted to patios were mostly just general common open space. Here's just a better understanding of a first floor plan. The enclosed patios will be enclosed with wrought iron fencing, and the outside units will have an average patio size of 204 square feet, whereas the internal patios will have an average of 158 square feet. Thank you. And then just another visual for better understanding. This wasn't included on the initial slideshow. This is our landscape plan with the proposed patios, again, highlighted in blue. The remainder of the site goes unchanged from what was already approved by Planning Commission and City Council. So it is not affected by the added enclosed patios. This will give enclosed patios to 13 total buildings, which equates to 66 units. It's half of the units, essentially. And then lastly, just looking at a breakdown of the open space calculations, you'll find that, of course, the private patio square footage increases while the common open space slightly decreases. It's just a little over a 9,000 square foot decrease, which in a grand scale is not much. And of course, while we exceed the requirements for patio and private deck, I want to point out that more importantly, we well exceed the requirement for the usable common open space. So in summary, our project offers a unique rental type. It offers an attractive potential home to many workforce families in the city of Fairfield. I'm a young working mom. I have a 2-year-old son, a dog, and my husband. And I know a townhome like layout like this, with an attached garage, amazing amenities, enhanced landscaping, and the idea of an enclosed patio just checks off every box for me as a renter. I could just, see my little one and my dog playing on the patio while my husband barbecues. I guess what I'm trying to say is, this is just a gem, a true gem. Finding something like this is unique. The majority of the units are primarily the units on the perimeter of the project, so it really offers a good balance throughout. And then lastly, in addition to the features and amenities throughout the project, there'll be a thoughtful landscape design. Again, this goes unchanged, which is it's not being affected by the reduction of open space. In fact, the square footage being converted to the patios is more functional for the residents, being that these areas are right against people's windows and doors. It's right against, the units themselves. So it'll be far more valuable for residents as patios than it would be for common area purposes. So today we're here in front of you to ask for a very slight reduction of open space. We'll hope you'll approve this. And this is going to give 66 residents their own private patios. We feel this, again, isn't a huge change, but is from the already approved plan, but offers a far just better benefit for our future residents. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time and consideration. We're here for any questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Sidari. Do we have any speakers via Zoom?
No, I don't see any hands raised.
Would staff like to respond to any of the issues raised by the commenters?
We didn't hear any, so no.
Okay. Do we have any questions from our commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Matthews.
The height of the fence will be how high?
We're proposing about 3 to 4 feet high.
And wrought iron with sort of open view through?
Yes.
And remind us, this is all market rent?
Yes, it is all market rent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right.
I had a question from the presentation that Jonathan Atkinson had proposed. There was going to be changes, if this was approved, there were going to be changes to, I believe, the doors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe what those changes are?
Yeah, actually, let's pull up one of the slides with the site plan, please.
All right, bear with me.
Sure. So I wish I could annotate and, is there one with the aerial view?
Oh,
of the
with
site
aerial?
plan?
No, unfortunately, but I think,
I can describe it.
yeah, okay.
So essentially what we did initially, we left all of the front doors unchanged, and it's just the outside units that really change. We thought we could pick up a little more square footage of the private patios, and it offers more variety for our future residents to choose from. So we brought the doors to the end units on the corners, on the sides of the units themselves, and that just offers a little greater patio space for those end units.
Okay. So we're
Good catch.
changing. I was just curious because I wanted to see how much it was compromised because of this change, which is my second question is, when you say common area, can you give me an idea? I want to understand the difference. Obviously, we've made it clear the private space is going to be for the renters, more privacy, a bigger patio space. If we choose not to go, what are we losing if there was a common space? Would there be more benches? I just kind of want to understand the difference between what a common space would look like for the renters and what they're.
This really would have been just landscaped green. It's really the areas immediately up against the units. We're not losing any trees. We're not losing any of the true common open space areas that would truly be used, and so it doesn't affect our original landscape plan.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't sure if we were going to lose benches or like areas for.
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from our commissioners? Okay. I will now close the public hearing and return it to the commissioners for their deliberation. Any thoughts on this?
I would just like to say I really like this project. I remember when you guys brought it because it was unique in regards to the Spanish style design on the front. And I'm really glad to see that particular space being utilized. I think that's a good place for it. And I also really enjoy that it is going to be a townhome and not an apartment style, because I think that adds a little bit more diversity to the area. So I really like this project. Thank you.
I'll agree with Commissioner Evans. The townhome aspect adds a lot to the community and for the tenants. I also like the fact that the recreational amenities has not changed, because that's going to be a really popular area for the thing, and it's just overall a very good project.
All right. Do I have a motion? Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Warbling.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo Commissioner Kennedy and Commissioner Evans with this project. I think 65, 66 units with the patio space will increase the likelihood of the rentability of these townhomes. So I was glad when the project came forward and was approved as well. Thank you.
If there are no other comments, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number PC 2023-09.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
It has been moved and second to approve the agenda as submitted. Ms. Sheehan, will you conduct the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Greavy?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Matthews?
Yes.
Commissioner Warblin?
Yes.
Commissioner Paul? I'm not sure, do we still have Commissioner Paul with us?
Commissioner Paul, you're on mute, or he's on mute, if someone can let him know.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Paul. And Vice Chair Creason?
Absolutely, yes.
The motion passes. Oh.
And I just want to note, since Commissioner Paul joined us late, I would like to ask that he make his announcement about AB 2449, just for the record.
Yes, I'm joining today's meeting from remote since I have to take care of my ailing brother, and I think it's one of the clauses, just cause under AB 2449.
And Commissioner Paul, can you also state whether there's anyone in the room with you over 18?
Yeah, and at present, just it's me in the room, nobody else is in the room.
Thank you. And just to confirm, your video is on, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
The motion passes. Ms. Sheehan, do you have any items for the director's report?
Yeah, I have just a few. I want to first welcome Commissioner Kennedy. This is his first meeting, so I'm sure you guys have all had some introductions around. And obviously you guys have voted for your chair and vice chair. Moving forward, you guys will shift around the seats. We'll make sure your names are at the right spot. And that will start next meeting. As you can obviously tell, we didn't switch this meeting, but that was the correct order. I just wanted to make sure I put that on for the record. I do also want to note that we do have a Planning Commission item scheduled for you. I believe it's August 23rd, if I'm got my calendar on right in my mind. So that's 2 weeks from now. At the moment, I have 2 items on the schedule. They are both related to the train station specific plan. The first one are specific plan amendments. We have a particular developer out there. I think you guys are familiar with the One Lake community. That's where our large lake is, and the coffee house, and several new homes. The master developer, McKinley Partners, is requesting for some specific plan amendments, and so that will be brought forward to you. And then additionally, we have the master plan unit development permit, or MPUD permit. It's the overall development proposal, or lays out the design for future development for what's known as Planning Area 6, and that is an industrial area. And it's directly on the other side of Vanden Road from the One Lake community. So it would be on the east side of Vanden. And so we will have both of those items. They are lengthier items. I'll be upfront about that. When we're doing big master plans, it's a lot of information, so we'll do our best to explain those to you. And then, of course, if you have any questions when you receive your packet, please feel free to reach out to myself or Dave Feinstein, as we will be the staff persons on those projects. And then additionally, I wanted to let everyone know that we do have the Fairfield Annual Tomato and Vine Festival coming up. And that is August 19th to the 20th. So we were obviously all welcomed to participate and join. The Parks and Rec Department has a fabulous program set up. We are also looking for volunteers. If yourself or anyone you might know is interested in volunteering for the festival, feel free to send my contact or have anyone contact me, and I'll make sure the right person in Parks and Rec gets their information. And really, that's all I have for today.
Do any commissioners have information items?
2 things. I'd like to, again, extend the welcome to Commissioner Kennedy, who brings a wealth of experience with city and other related matters to the commission, so we're excited to have him on board. Also, I wanted to highlight some of the work that Commissioner Greavy is doing with the Blue Zone, and I think it might be worthwhile to have you take a minute or two to explain that effort and the potential involvement of the city in that.
Thank you. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with what a blue zone is. Blue zones was actually a scientific study that was done worldwide, and there were 5 specific areas where people live in excess of 100 years with high concentration. Those were Ikra, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda, California, and a small community in Puerto Rico. And through that study, what was developed was and there's going to be a Netflix program on this documentary later this month. But what it really boils down to is a gentleman that worked with National Geographic. His name's Dan Bootner. He's written about 5 or 6 books. Took all of the information from these various areas, compiled it, and came out with basically how you could improve your life by following some of the lifestyles that they have embraced for many, many years. And it's not just diet, it's social, it's education, it's activity, and through that, they have developed what is now called Blue Zone communities. There's a number of them. There's about 80 successful ones throughout the United States now. There's around 300 that are at various stages throughout the United States on these communities. And my purpose, and I had a meeting on Monday where I brought in the Blue Zone Committee. Their vice president of development, and they spoke to a key group of individuals from the community And our objective is that it would be county-wide. It would not be city-specific. It improves items of lifestyle, bike lanes, green spaces. It incorporates diet. It incorporates activity. It incorporates the importance of supporting each other in our communities, and so on. At the end of the day, it has had proven results where it has increased our health, it has decreased obesity, it has improved, reduced crime in the communities, and so on. So that's just kind of a real fast overview on it. It is very comprehensive, and we are very much in the early stages of whether or not the community is prepared to make the commitment to move forward with this.
Thank you, Commissioner Gravy, for sharing that. Do any other commissioners have information items?
I just wanted to double check in with Ms. Sheehan and see, are we still doing the countywide training on the 26th, I believe it was supposed to be?
No, I am sorry, I'm not positive. I will look into that, and I will send you all an email the moment I know. I believe it's still available, but let me just confirm.
Is that mandatory?
And this is Commissioner Werblin. Commissioner Evans, I had it slated for Friday, August 25th, although I did not receive any type of email confirmation if it was happening.
Thank you. It is the last Friday. That's what I have too. I think you might be right about the 25th. I just wanted to confirm because I didn't receive confirmation either.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I remember that being a topic at the last, at our last meeting, so I will definitely look into that and send emails as soon as I have information.
If we do not have any other information items from commissioners, I'd like to say that we are adjourned to our next meeting on August 23rd, 2023.
Thank you.